Welcome back. You're now watching the political segment on the Weekend Show. My name is Andy Madaki.
And I'm Eddie Young Frank.
Hello, Didi. Happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you
Let's
very
start on
much.
the lighter note. How was your birthday? Did you have a good one?
It was really good, yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel getting closer to my age?
Well, I still have a long way to go to get
I was
closer to
invited
your
for a party. I didn't get cake, which brings us to the conversation today. Could it be as a result of the economic situation in the country? It's been about 14 months since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was inaugurated as the president of Nigeria. Two of his first moves was to, one, float the naira, and secondly, remove all subsidies. Now, this has had a ripple effect as it has led to increase of prices, food prices, cost of living, amongst several other things. Now, for the average Nigerian, all they care about is what to eat and how to go from point A to point B, which brought back the conversation about a national minimum wage, which was at 30,000 naira. Now, there are lots of conversation with the National Labour Congress asking for a figure as high as 500,000 naira, and then it went about 400,000 naira, and there was the back and forth. But just lately, the president has approved 70,000 naira, and this has been transmitted to the National Assembly and approved. Now, the current administration will tell you that they've increased minimum wage by over 100%. But this 100% at 70,000 naira, can this be compared to the value of what it was 9 years ago before the current ruling party APC came into power? The equivalent of what 30,000 naira was then, if you compare it to dollars, because we still import largely what we use and consume in Nigeria. Is this comparable? The government will also tell you that they've created the consumer credit scheme where this can happen. They've also created a student loan scheme to provide loans to students. And so the government will tell you, give us time to get our policies working and to get things intact. However, what do Nigerians think about it? The past week, what everyone has been talking about and concerned about is a protest which has been a point of conversation. Is this happening? Should this happen? Is it too early because the government is saying give us time to fix the economy? But a lot of it goes back to the national minimum wage. The president has called it a living wage. So we'll be having that conversation, and joining us
we have Ambassador Chibuzo Okereke, who is a public policy and legislative expert. Thank you for coming back on the show.
Good morning.
Good morning. We also have Honorable Ejike Onyekelu, who is the Director of Contact and Mobilization, AASG, APC. And also joining us, Honorable Idris Kalgo, National Team Lead at Tiku Youth Wing. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Okay, so let's just get into the trending topic in Nigeria. What do you think? Let's start with here. About the what do you think are the primary motivations concerning this planned August 1st protest here in Nigeria?
Hunger, suffering on a daily basis, insecurity. The poor people are getting tired on a daily basis. And then we have a governments who have been in power for like 9 years, in the APC governments. I believe even if you are, even if you just enter JSS1 in the secondary school, that was from 2015. By now, you should be a graduate. So for 9 years, they have nothing to show. They keep telling the people to be patient, to be patient, to be patient. For how long are we going to be patient? People are suffering, dying on a daily basis. A poor man can no longer eat rice and beans, rice and stew now. Tomato is not a hot cake. So why do we get it wrong from the beginning? It's simply just by voting the APC from 2015. They have been on a blame game from day one. Yeah, okay, we agree things are not working on well, but during the election, the APC government from Buhari time, they made promises to us. Security, agriculture, unemployment, so many fake promises. After 8 years, nothing to show, then President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, someone who said in 100 days he's going to make sure that there's going to be he's going to fix the light. We're going to have a steady light. Nigerians are not asking for much. People are hungry. And thank God, among themselves, they know And we saw what Senator Dume said. He doesn't even grant access. So what is happening? As a president for the people, the same president that went state to state campaigning, now his doors are locked. He doesn't listen to anybody, or is it the cabals or what? No good roads, bad healthcare, no employment. Everything like is just not working. And they keep telling us to be patient, patience, patience. But yet, they are living in a very luxury life. So who is fooling who? So they should come out and say the truth.
Okay, well, we'll get deeper into that, especially with what you've said. And just this morning, 2 hours ago, Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso issued a press statement, which I saw on Twitter. And he spoke about bad governance, but he's also told young people not to protest because this isn't the way forward. This puts the APC in a tough position because the president will tell you this is what he is doing. With President Buhari, we heard a lot of, I'm not aware. And so it's like there's this echo chamber. Senator Ndume has said this, and each time there's a dissenting voice, they get suspended or something happens. What's your response to what the other speakers just mentioned?
All right. Thank you very much. Yes, I know. Sincerely, even if you are blind, therefore you can hear. Yes. But if I say something concerning me, especially the cause of this very protest we're talking about now. The government is responsible for the people. Yes. And people voted with trust. But when there is a shift, I know there must be a revolt. I'm also of opinion PDP, APC, other parties, we go to the same market. Yes. We are facing the same situation right about now. I will not say much about during the period of Muhammadu Buhari. And I'm not here to antagonize any government who have been in power before APC takes over. But I tell us something. So many things that have been happening right now. Some people started all of those things. They gave back to it. Which is, I knew when PDP was in power, a lot of things happened. It was the same PDP period that Mavrodi Mundia movement that hit Nigeria so hard. How did MMM penetrated Nigeria? The same hunger. How to maximize what they have in order to feed. Okay.
Sorry, I would have to interject because, and it comes to the question, you say some people are responsible. At some point, I would like you to speak specifically who you feel is responsible or those who are responsible. And I say this because the Senate president used to be in the PDP and now he's in the APC. Say PDP had done whatever they had done in the past. I saw even the former Senate president, I think Pius Ayim, moving to the APC, and I may be wrong. But the point is, while Nigerians are complaining, while you say some people were the reason for this, what an average Nigerian on the street is seeing is a supplementary budget just got passed of about 6 trillion. We have the largest budget that we have had. You have new cars for people in the National Assembly. The judiciary, their wages have been increased. You have the president and the executive. So much has gone on. There's been high-level corruption, and we've not seen convictions. And so if PDP did whatever they did, the military did whatever they did, APC says change, and now they've said renewed hope. Why are we still, like Cargo said, playing the blame game? So who exactly was responsible for this, and why hasn't APC fixed it, since your party knows the people who were responsible?
I will possibly say this. I will not authoritatively say that this A or that B is responsible. But what I said is government is responsible for the people. Get my point right.
Okay.
They are responsible for the people. The well-being of Nigerians should be their first priority. And that is what APC came in with. And I must tell us, Renew Hope agenda has not failed. Still, but I understand one thing. Nothing good comes easy at all. If we must get it right, we must be able to throw the rough part and also have this ability to endure. See, forgive me when I say this. Gold becomes the finest and most adorable until after it went through the fire. Get it right. Now, what thing I realize in all of these happening in Nigeria, government and the people, is the understanding. And also, had it been that Mr. President, whom we tirelessly worked to enthrone, has this, or rather, comes out to address his own people, tell them, fine, this is what we have, and this is what we are putting up. Can you please endure for a little while, and let's have this feast once and for all.
We have to bring Ambassador in.
Yeah, I would like to hear your thoughts on this conversation, particularly if you could shed some light on the potential warnings against the protest by the government, seeing as it's a fundamental human right of the citizen to go ahead and protest. Also, as at yesterday, the FCT alone, over 4,000 policemen have been deployed towards the August 1st protest that has not even started. Is that an intimidation tactic? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, my first statement will be that Nigeria is not a collection of APC and the PDP. Nigeria is a collection of people with aspiration, desire, concerns, and who are interested for the development of their well-being, and who want the government to work for them to deliver, improved standard of living. Each time we speak in the country, we talk as if Nigeria belongs to politicians. It doesn't belong to politicians. And what I say is that the politicians have helped to collapse all agencies of social mobilization. Today, the government, whether the previous government or this government, they are struggling with this issue of protest for many reasons. One, you look at the National Youth Council, it's completely collapsed. You look at National Youth Parliament, collapsed by political overarching interests. Look at the National Association of Nigerian Students, completely collapsed. And you look at the struggles with the youth ministry. It is right now that they are trying to address press conferences, engage the people, through the media. You look at the people President appointed as SA on community engagement. They were able to raise money to advertise Senator Dave Umai for his 61st birthday on national newspaper. But they could not publish the government policies and how it's affecting the people to the communities where they are representing the president. So our governance philosophy is dysfunctional, is defective. And I see that politicians are competing with celebrities on who will showcase more affluence and luxury. And we are talking about public fund. Those celebrities are into private business. You are using public fund. 90% of the cars, in fact 100% or more of the cars used by politicians in this country are imported. That is capital flight. And I'm just giving you variables of discontent that is affecting, the people. So you look at a situation where the president is seen as the only person that is responsible for the well-being of the people in a federation. You have to fly traditional rulers from their local communities to Abuja. Money was spending, I'm sure they're going to sleep in the hotels. Even governors had to come to the villa from their various states. Is the only president that we have in this country? Is there any state in this country that the government is owing their monthly allocation? Why are we so fixated in the center as if, and as well even some of the governors, excuse me, the governors are supposed to be holding consultations in their state and giving public account to the people of how they have used billions of naira that accrue to them. The presidency is also supposed to be doing so at the federal level. We are now in a situation where federal government is sending rice to local government that are receiving allocation. These special interventions are okay, but that tells you how dysfunctional the governance system, has become. Section 14(2) of the Constitution made it clear that the primary responsibility of government is security and welfare of the people. How you deliver that security and welfare through your policies is what is very critical. For me, I believe that the people has the right to protest. As somebody who was former Student Union president, I've been involved in many protests, in this country. However, we cannot have a protest of unknown people. A protest you have to know the people that are organizing the protest. We have to know we don't want any secret protest that can be influenced by metropolitan states, because every country in Africa is at war with metropolitan states. So during the coronation of the King of England, they even designated a place for people to protest who are not happy with that. Just 3 days ago, Netanyahu was in the U.S. Congress to address them on the Gaza war. A place was designated at the Capitol Hill for people to protest. So I don't fashion the idea of 4,000 policemen being mobilized to stop people from protesting. That is not. I would rather that every state in the Federation, those who are doing the protest should come out and then, put their details out there. Government should designate Eagle Square or Unity Fountain across states, designate places where the people can come out. Give them media, give them, security for their support. It's not security to suppress and oppress. However, I believe that going forward, the political class has to know that they are responsible for whatever that is going on. They are completely disconnected with people. There is too much patronage system. You are living in a country where core members mobilized by the Nigerian state could not find PPA where to do their service. And they have to be scouting for PPA. You are living in a country where 5 million people write JAMB, generate revenue for the country, only 1.5 million can enter universities. You are living in a country where the National Open University just scratched out the law program with 2,000 students thrown out. You are living in a country where we brought us medical students from Ukraine, and up till now, some of them have not been able to be integrated into schools, in Nigeria. You are living in a country where the law school in Nigeria, in the last 3-4 years, under the so-called quota system, because of infrastructure deficit, is not able to absorb people into the Council of Legal Education program. Excuse me. You are living in a country where the office of the SGF has collapsed. Nobody knows. When people campaign about defunding National Assembly, I laugh because they don't really know how Nigeria is governed. We don't know when an agency is established. Investors can just help them to get office and start working. The office of the SGF, all the ministers went there to do documentation. And we don't know what is accruable to them. How many personnel are they supposed to have as their personal staff? We don't know it. But at least in the legislature, you know they have 5. How many vehicles are supposed to be in a minister's convoy? What is really the job of a minister? Why should a minister who is a public servant be in a long convoy and his media aides, all they do is to show us the cars on Instagram, and you think people will not be angry? The people know you. These guys are not accountable to their communities, except when they have interest for another political position. But the legislators are the people that are besieged every day by their constituents. So this oppression and imbalance, whether it's as a result of long term of military incursion or what have you, I don't know. But we need to get our governor, get our public offices work. We have some governors who will abandon SSG office and invest power in their chief of staff, in the presidents who have seen it in the past. This is not how government is run. And that is why people talk about cabal. It's not those who are close to president that will have more power. Power is vested in an office, not an individual. And if we don't change that, we will not be able to deliver economic prosperity to the people. The politics of prebendalism, patronage, and clandestine tendencies will become the order of the day. So I think that if Nigerians are shouting for hunger, the president himself is the chief protester, at least in the last decade. He has been responsible for a lot of pro-democracy protests. And he has acknowledged that he has only been involved in peaceful protests, and I agree. But if you declare a national day of rage against your country, it is because your psyche is telling you that that country belongs to a president or politician. No, sir. It belongs to you. You are not going to burn down your country, but you're free to mobilize peacefully, have a designated place, and let the government know how you feel about certain things. But do not allow supranational bodies control the process for other agenda they have that we are seeing in other places.
Ambassador, you've made very valid points and very valid for and against, and I do appreciate that. We have Chief Ola Apina on, okay, we don't have him there, but I do thank you for giving a balanced opinion, and this is not even a question, but it's more a follow-up to what you've said. We focus a lot on the center. People, and we've said that on this show so many times, that people need to hold their state governors accountable, their state houses of assembly accountable. There's a lot of focus on the FCT, on the president, and that's what we need to do. I was just reading yesterday about a particular state government that they used a quarter of their budget to buy cars and SUV. But like I said earlier, the president and the presidency will tell you they've done some work. I have Chief Ola Apina, who is the former deputy chairman PDP Lagos, joining us virtually. Chief, the President has approved the minimum wage increase, and he has also ordered for CNG conversion, and they now have a student loan scheme, amongst others. So the president will tell you he's doing his best and he is trying. But you are in the home state of the president, which we have seen what's going on. We've seen the likes of Dangote complaining about his refinery. We've seen Akin Adesina. We've seen Femi Otedola. Even the billionaire entrepreneurs are now complaining. What's your take on all of this? And do you think that with the moves made by the current president, this is enough?
Thank you so much. The facts speak for itself. Hello?
Yes, please go on.
I said facts speak for itself. If your masquerade is dancing very well, you would know. But the fact is that the country is not moving in the right direction. All these policies, somersault, withdrawal of subsidy, floating of the naira, and all those stuffs have contributed seriously to hunger and anger in the country. And it seems this administration is not getting it right at all. To me, it's like a trial and error approach to governance, And you see a lot of policy somersault. For instance, this is an administration that is advocating for foreign investment into the system. See what is happening, see what is playing out between Dangote refinery and this so-called regulator. It's like they are demarketing the country. No sensible investor will come and invest in an economy where you are even demarketing your own local investor. So there are so many things wrong with the system, and they keep telling us, like some of the participants have said, they keep telling us, be patient, we're working on it. For how long? Yeah, the APC guy there said Nigeria will need to go through some funnel because we want to make gold. For how long are we going to remain in the funnel? For how long? For how long? So the question is that we are not really getting it right. People are dying and people are really suffering. You need to, if you're on the street, the number of people that just walk up to you, if they just see you as somebody who is okay, it's alarming for assistance, not to talk of phone calls and stuff like that. The government needs to do something drastic about it. So that's my take.
Thank you very much, Chief.
Yeah, Chief, what impact do you think this protest could have in Nigeria's political landscape?
Of course, the protest will have very positive impact because if you can evaluate the panic mode the government has been in the last 72 or thereabout hours, you know that they are really concerned, because they've taken us for granted. You see, Bola Tinubu believes that he is in control of everything, is in control of the boys, the tout, everything, and nothing can happen under his administration. But now the chicken is coming home to roast. So I think the protests should go on as planned. You see, it won't go violent. The only people that brings violence is the government. It is only when they try to stop the protest, the peaceful protest, by engaging another form of hoodlum to go and attack them, or you instigate the police to go and attack them, or you bring in the military, as in the NSAS, to attack them. That is when it goes violent. We've witnessed a lot of protests in this country, right from Akritunde Ojo time, that is Ali must go. It was peaceful, right from Unilag up to a point in Onipanda, in Pangrove, when the police started firing. And that was when it got violent. So So to me, the protest is very necessary. It's necessary to drive home points to the government that things are not going well. And I'm sure it's going to have a positive impact if well managed.
Thank you very much for your input, Chief, and we'll be monitoring the situation and see how it goes. But thank you so much. We'll come
Thank
back to
you.
the studio. Idris, to let you land with what you were saying, what really is the way forward? Besides being a youth advocate, you are also a very vocal supporter of the PDP and its presidential candidate. What do you think, if your party was in power, they would have done better? And because we need a way forward at this point in time. I personally do not want the disruptions that may come with this. We don't want lives lost. We don't want violent protests. But what do you think should be the way forward? What should be done?
First of all, we should all know that protest is a fundamental right for any citizen. And it is the duty of the security to protect the protesters. And before I get there, I would like to go back on what you said about the deployment of 4,000 security personnel in FCT. We could have even appreciated if they send us security to some areas where we have insecurity. Not on people who think that, okay, enough is enough, they're tired, they want to fix things, they want things to go right. Why do people protest? It's because maybe something is wrong. And this same president, in 2012, he protested during Jonathan's time, where Jonathan increased the fuel price, home price. What did he say on that protest? That they are looting our money, they don't care about us, they only care about their children and their wives. Why is he afraid of the protest now? What made them think that it's going to be violent? It's going to be a violent protest. And I heard the spokesman of the military spokesman saying that they got some people who they know some people are trying to make it incite and make it violent or something else. If they know these people, let them go out. They are not supposed to come on the media and talk about it. Let them go and fish those people out. Arrest them so that the protester can have a peaceful protest. People are tired. The hunger, everything is just not working. We have a system that it's only those in government that enjoys the whole benefit of the dividend of the democracy. The people at the government, they are supposed to be happy. They are supposed to have good roads. They are supposed to have security, enough good security. They are supposed to have their children. The poor people are supposed to have good jobs. Because now, if you look at it now, it's only just the big men or those in power that have their children who goes get the juicy jobs. And then the poor people get only few, not just job of how many, 10, 50,000, 60, 70,000 naira salary. Why are people talking about this protest? Let me go back there. It means the system, it means that this government is actually not working right. Things are not moving right. And the youth, what are we supposed to do? Are we just supposed to follow our arms and just watch and let it go? They keep telling us that we are the leaders of tomorrow. Since when? For how long? Nothing changed. Sir Ahmadu Bello, Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Awola, I'm sure they will be regretted now. Because the same people they put in place, the same leaders who are today's leaders now, because these people gave them all the platform to become who they are now. But unfortunately, they deny us all those things. So are we just going to keep dying for nothing? Hunger? How long are we going to take? Enough of the blame game, sorry. If it is PDP, it could have been a different thing. We won't be complaining about things like this. Okay, before then, we have a presidential candidate who say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do. When you get into power, do it. You know things were going wrong before you become president. So why the blame games? What are you doing to fix it, to fix all those things? The same president who said, okay, we're going to make things right, is the same president who is now buying hundreds of millions of dollars new private jets for their own use. The same government are buying luxury cars for the legislators. Ministers living in luxury lives. They don't even know what is going on. They don't.
Unfortunately, we've got just about 5 minutes, and I need the both of them to give their closing comments. So,
Yes.
Ambassador, let's start.
So I think that we need to promote a merit-based and healthy competitive society. Nigeria right now is not functioning on merit. A lot is based on patronage and politics, and that is what is wrong. Borrowing the words of the U.S. Vice President, he said, this country should be a place where people don't just get by, but also be able to get ahead. These are the kind of opportunities our leaders today had. It's not only capacity and competence that you need to lead politically. You also need compassion, and that is what is lacking. We don't want to continue to have a country where people are appointed and all of them converge on Abuja. We should have a situation where the president should right now, I believe, conduct the so-called monitoring and evaluation and impact assessment of all appointees. And anybody who has been here dancing disco in Abuja celebrating that appointment should be, laid off. And people who want to passionately work for the people and not showcase wealth and affluence should be brought in to deliver on policies. And we need to have daily brief across languages of what the president is doing and how he's impacting the people. And I also feel that people have to know that it's not only federal government that we have in Nigeria. We also have state government, we also have local government. If all these people, you mentioned a situation in somewhere in Northwest, there are reports of a governor's wife who was even having birthday celebration and dollars were being spread on her. So the attitude, leadership preparedness, gives you the behavioral attitude to manage affairs of the people. You know how to behave as a leader. Right now, that behavioral attitude is deficient, and I think that they should change. Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Ambassador.
All right.
Thank you very much. Still on that, but in a quick one, I want to appeal to Nigerians, to shift their plans of this protest. I'm not against it, but I have one problem. When a protest is being sponsored, it becomes something different. Personal interest has already taken it. But if a willful protest is being organized, that is the right of the citizen in order to air out their dissatisfaction. So, on this note, they have already pointed out their 10 needs, their 10 demands, which I stumbled into it a few times ago. Good and fine. The president on seat is not deaf and yet none of those things, and I'm well aware that that renewed hope he promised still intact, and I'm sure that he's going to deliver. If being given that very particular time ask, okay, we are less than, a year plus, going to 2 years in the office, no problem. But however, like coming by 2012, when sometimes this whole thing is like a player in the field and those out watching. You might possibly not know. A player in the field might be a bit blind, not to even know how. But you out there watching, we know, oh, you could pass it this way, you have gone. But all of this, the stress and everything happens there. When you get on that seat, you know whatever that's going on there. But at this point, I'm only appealing to Nigerians. We know that, yes, things are not balanced. But if we could forbear, I tell us, at the end, we'll have a just cause.
I think that's a great place to leave it.
And sorry, you and I have been on the protest.
Yes, we have over the
and
years.
I want to tell Nigerians that this country does not belong to politicians. Don't burn down your country.
Thank you.
That is very important, because the politicians, they will leave the barracks. One day it will be your turn. And you need to have a country to, administer.
100%.
Yeah,
I
thank
think
you
that's a
very
good
much.
place to leave it. And we've also seen advocacy that has worked. We were together for the Not Too Young to Run advocacy. There was no violence, and over time we saw how that went. The point is, Nigerians want to be able to eat, to be able to move freely, to be able to have a roof over their head. And at the end of the day, the buck stops at the table of the president, the governors, and the people who have been elected into power to carry out their roles. I must say that the opinions of our guests remain the opinions of our guests and not the opinions of Africa Independent Television. However, we do call for people to remain peaceful at all times. That's much we can take on the political segment. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we've got Aisha B on Entrepreneur Spotlight.
Yeah.